Hello everyone, my name is Zino and welcome to HarcCore Season 2 on Minecraft 1.17, but we have a data pack and now we are on 1.18 and you can find a link in the description to that data pack. Day 1. Because we are on a small island and we don't have any tree here, I start to collect some seed. I go to another island to collect some wood. After that I replant the old tree I cut down. I see one tropical fish on the water and I go to that. I see a strange island and I want to see what is that. I found a mushroom island and that is perfect for a starter base or a future industrial district. I settle in a cave, I made a crafting table, I made a wooden pickaxe and I start to mine some stone. I made my first stone pickaxe, I collect some coal and cobblestone and I made my first furnace. I eat my tropical fish and after that I realize I can have infinite food from the mushroom cows. I spend my first night in that cave. Day 2. I start the day by planting some trees because I need wood. I made a sword and after that I go to mine. I found some coals, gold and finally iron. I place my iron and my copper in the furnace and after that I go back to mine. I collect my first piece of iron and after that I made an iron pickaxe. And the end of day 2 is here. Day 3. I found a big cave and I go to explore that because I need so much iron. In that cave with water to find some iron because in the previous one I don't found any piece of iron. I regenerate my iron bar with that magma cube and after that I found some iron. And I put that iron in the furnace. After that I made my own mine to mine iron. And after some times I found iron. I made a chestplate and a helmet and after that I go down in a very big cave. I collect more iron and after that I complete my armor. In the mine I beat 2 endermen and I got 2 ender pearl. Day 4. I made an iron axe and after that I go to cut down some tree. And after that I replant them. I go to mine and I found a mineshaft. That's a very good source of string. In that mineshaft I found a minecart with a chest and I get my first diamond. Because I have very more string, now I can make some wool and with wool I can make a bed for me. Day 5. I found a sunken ship very close to my island and I go to explore that. In the first chest I found a treasure map, some paper and some book. In the next chest I found very more iron and gold. Because I am an adventurer I go to find a treasure. I found a treasure and here I found 5 diamonds. And a lot of iron. When I go home I found another sunken ship. Here I found very more emerald and iron. Day 6. I start the day by collecting some sugarcane and after that I collect some dirt because I want to make a farming area. I collect a lot of dirt and after that I start to make a farming area in the small lake of my island. Day 7. Early in the morning I start to work on the farming area. After I finish that I start to make the soil fertile. I plant some potatoes, some carrots and sugarcane. I meet a wandering trader and he don't have too good traits. In the end of the day I cut down some trees. Day 8. I start the day by collecting and replant the sugarcane. After that I go to explore the area around my island. After some times I found an ocean monument. I found the savanna and I start to collect some acacia wood and the acacia sapling. After that I found a village and I settle here for the night. Day 9. I collect the old hay bale, I found the village and the old crops. After that I found another village in a desert. I collect the old hay bales, composter and the bats from that village. After I leave the village I found a lush cave. I caught a sheep and I took it home. I arrive home in the evening accompanied by a dolphin. Day 10. In the morning I place the sheep in the safe place and after that I plant an acacia tree. I expand my storage and I leave some item here. After that I caught another sheep and I took that home. In the evening I place the sheep in the same place where I placed the first one. Day 11. In the morning I collect my crops and replant that and after that I plant some acacia tree. I caught 2 mushroom cows and I place that in a safe place and after that I go to multiply the mushroom cows from the entire island. After that I caught 2 more mushroom cows and after that I transform one in a normal cows. Day 20. I started the day with some farming and after that I made some torch and I go to mine. After a little bit time I found a giant cave and I go to explore that. I found some iron and after that I go to search more iron. I beat an enderman and I get one more pearl. And finally I found diamonds. Day 13. In the morning I transform a mushroom cow in a normal cow. After that I multiply my old animals. I made my first diamond pickaxe, sword and axe. I decided me that's a time to make another portal and for build that I use the old technique with the lava bucket. After that I made a flint and steel and I go in the nether for the first time. I found a bastion but I don't go in that because I don't have a too good armor. Day 14. On this day I decided me to explore more around my island. After some time I found another portal ruin and here I found a golden apple and I collect the gold block. After that I found a sunken ship where I found iron, lapis, emeralds and a treasure map. I place a door and I start to dig. I found a treasure and here I found iron, gold, emerald and a heart of sea. I found a big ocean ruin and unfortunately I don't found any chest. Day 15. I make some shovels and after that I start to collect very more dirt because I need very more dirt for a future project. In the end of day 50 I get 12 stack of dirt and almost 1. Day 16. I made some fence and I start to make a place for a cow's farm. I place a fence gate with a slab on that because that's the old brick which I use in the past to separate the small cows from the big cows. I collect some wool from the sheep, I craft some carpets and I place it on the fence gate because that's a way to get in and get out very easier. I move up the cows and after that I multiply that. I cow some mushroom cows and after that I transform that into normal cows. In the end of the day I expand my sugarcane farm. Day 17. I started the day by collecting some obsidian because I want to make an enchantment table. And I want to craft my enchantment table, I realized I have only a single piece of diamond and that is not enough. And I go to mine some diamonds. And after a little time I found some diamonds. After that I multiply my cows and the night is here. Day 18. Because now I have enough diamond, I craft the enchantment tables. After that I craft a bookshelf for all my items and I place it. I collect my sugarcane and I expand the sugarcane farm. In the end of the day I multiply again my cows. Day 19. In the morning I multiply my animal and I separate the small cows from the big cows. I kill my cows and I get 14 ladders. I made 2 more bookshelves and I place it. And after that I expand very more my sugarcane farm. In the end of the day I go to mine and I found more diamonds. Day 20. I start the day by collecting my old sugarcane. I expand my sugarcane farm on the other side of the island. I multiply the animal again and I separate the big cows from the small cows. I made 2 more bookshelves and I place it. I made some torch and I lighting the old piece of my island where the mob can spawn. Day 21. I multiply the animal again and after that I kill the big cows. After that I made 5 more bookshelves and I place that. Day 22. I kill my cows, I made some bookshelves and after that I made my enchantment table to level 13. I go in nether to mine some quartz to make XP. After that I go home and I place efficiency 4 on my pickaxe. After that I see that I can get looting tree on my sword and I go to mine quartz for XP. Day 23. I place the looting tree on my sword and I get sharpness 4, fire aspect 2 and looting tree. After that I see that I can get seal touch on my shovel and I go mine quartz for XP. I made level 13 and I place the seal touch on my shovel. And at the end of the day I collect my old sugarcane. Day 24 to 25. On this day I decided me to make my armor for diamond. I go to mine and I found more diamonds. I found some crystal and I collect 2 to make a spyglass. After that I realize I need a sharp and I go back to get one. And I craft for the first time a spyglass. And now we can see the sunset of day 25 with my spyglass. Day 26. I start the day by making a dirt pillar and after that I make a big platform of dirt. After I finish to make the platform I start to place some grass block because I want to transform the dirt in a grass block. After I finish to place the grass block, the end of the day is here. Day 27. I start the day by making some enchantments and I place on my helmet Unbreaking 3, Respiration 3 and Protection 4. After that I see I can get Fortune 2 on my diamond pickaxe and I go very fast back in Nether to make some XP with mining quartz. After I made level 13 I place that enchantments on my pickaxe and I get Fortune 2 and Unbreaking 3. After that I go in the mine to test my new pickaxe and I get 4 diamonds from 2 ores. Day 28. I start the day by multiplying the cows, separate the small cows from the big cows and after that I kill the big cows for leather. After that I collect my old sugarcane because I need so much paper. Now I have paper and leather and I craft so much books and I start to place enchantments on books until I have the opportunity to place Seal Touch on my diamond pickaxe. Finally I have the opportunity to place Seal Touch on my diamond pickaxe and I go very fast in the Nether to mining quartz for XP. Day 30. I start the day by placing Seal Touch on my diamond pickaxe and I get Seal Touch and Unbreaking 3. After that I go to find the frozen ocean because I need pectiles for a future project. After some times I found another ocean monument and another one. In the end of day 30 I see a little piece of ice pack and after that I see there is a little piece of a giant iceberg. Day 31. I go to see the portal ruin and I try to activate it. After some times I activate the portal and I go in Nether to see where is that portal. I explore it a little bit the Nether but a guys attack me and I go back in overworld. To the rest of the day I collect ice pack. Day 32. After a very long time I fill up my entire inventory with pectiles. After that I go in Nether and I try to go home and I start to go in the Soulstone Valley. I found a best chain and I think above a best chain is my portal and my portal is here. I made a very risky thing and I make a bridge directly to my portal. And in the end of the day I arrive home. Day 33. In the morning I meet a creeper, I place a double chest and I place my all pectiles here. Because I need slime for my future mob farm, I go to find a swamp and to get some. In my journey, I found a giant mountain from 1.18. After some times, I found a swamp and I stay here to the night to kill some slime. I kill some slime and I risking my life for some slime ball. I kill another one. In the end of the night, I get 35 slime ball. Day 34. In the morning of day 34, I start to go home. After a very long time, I'm arrive home. I store my slime in the same chest with pectiles. I go to my boat and I go to find a sand island. I found one and I start to collect sand. I get 5 stack and I go home. When I arrive home, the night was here. Day 35. I start the day by making some furnace and after that I place my sand to smelt. I made a netherrack platform and after that I start to work on the glass tube where the future mob farm mob will fall. In the end of the day I finish to make the tube where the mob will fall. Day 36. In the morning I start to work on the mob collection system and after a few minutes I finish that. I place some torch because I don't want to spawn any mob here. I craft some bow and after that I craft more dispenser. Day 37. I started the day by collecting some cobblestone and after that I made 27 observer. I start to work on the spawning platform and in the middle of each platform I place a dispenser facing up. After that I place an observer facing up above each dispenser. In the end of day 37 I made more spawning platform. Day 38. I go back to the frozen ocean because I use my old pectiles and I need more. When I arrive to the frozen ocean I start directly to collect pectiles. In the end of the day I collect a lot of pectiles. Day 39. Early in the morning I start to collect pectiles. In the end of the day I fill up my entire inventory with pectiles. Day 40. Early in the morning because now I have a lot of pectiles I start directly to make more spawning platforms. Because I work very hard in the end of day 40 I finish to make the all spawning platforms. Day 41. I made a stone cutter and I start to collect my all quartz I have. I craft 22 bucket, I fill up with water and I start to place that on the each layer of the mob farm. In the end of the day I finish to place that in each dispenser. Day 42. I fill up 2 buckets with water and I finish to make the mob farm collection system. I made 2 sticky pistons, 2 comparator and 2 hoppers. Day 43. I start the day by placing some quartz to smelt. I made a timer on the top of the mob farm and I placed an ice pack in the timer. I placed the last piece of the redstone and now the farm starts working. I collect my smooth quartz and I start to work a little bit on the last platform from the top. Day 44. I start to work early in the morning and I use my all quartz. When I arrived down, here was very more mob and I killed that. After that, because I need more quartz, I go in nether to collect more quartz. Day 45. I craft some block of quartz and I put that to smelt. I mine some coal and I put that in each furnace. I go to the top, I made some smooth quartz slab and I go to work. I place some smooth quartz slab on the top of the timer to prevent the mob spawning. Day 46. I start the day by collecting some obsidian because I want to make a portal. After I get 10 pieces of obsidian, I go to my boat and I go to find a village. After some time I found a village and the night is here. Day 47. I start the day by making a nether portal. I go in nether and I start to look to my industrial area portal. After a few minutes I found a frozen ocean portal. And finally I found my industrial area portal and I start to work on the tunnel. Day 48 to 49. I start to make a little tunnel to transport the villager from the house in the portal. After a very long time I finish transport the villager from the overworld in the nether. In the end of day 49 I arrive home with the 2 villagers. Day 50. In the evening I see very more mobs in the tube of the mob farm and I go to kill them. After that I start to prepare a safe place for the villagers. I build a safe structure for the 2 villagers. I made a tunnel to the villagers and after that I transport the 2 villagers with the old technique with water bucket. After I transport the 2 villagers, the end of day 50 is here. Day 51. In the morning I make a shovel and I place efficiency 4 on that and I get efficiency 4 and a breaking 3. After that I go to the top of my mountain and I start to collect dirt. In the end of the day I fill up my entire inventory with dirt. Day 52. I start the day by making some terraforming by placing so much dirt. After some times I complete a big part with dirt and after that I see I have very more mobs in the mob farm and I go to kill them. Day 53. I start the day by multiplying the coals, I collect some coal and after that I made some campfire. I made some chests and I go to mine iron because I need hoppers. In the end of the day I return to the surface with 48 iron. Day 54. In the morning I place my iron to smelt and I place the campfire where the mob will fall. I make some hoppers, I place a double chest and I make a little item collection system. To the rest of the day I go to collect dirt, in the end of the day I fill up a chest with dirt. Day 55. I start the day by placing dirt to make a big dirt platform. I work very hard, in the end of the day I place so much dirt. Day 56. I start the day by going to collect more dirt. After I fill up my entire inventory with dirt, I leave the old dirt in that chest. To the end of the day I collect more 30 stack of dirt. Day 57. I start the morning by placing dirt to make bigger my dirt platform. After some times I use my old dirt from my inventory and I go to took my dirt from my chest. To the end of the day I place so much dirt. Day 58. In that day I continue to place more dirt. After some times I use all dirt I have and I make a big dirt platform. Day 59. In the morning I collect my crops and after that I multiply my cows. After that I separate the small cows from the big cows and I kill the big cows for food. After that I go in nether to collect so much quartz because I need quartz for a future project. Day 60. I come back on overworld and I put an enchant on my shovel and I get efficiency 4 and a breaking 3. After that I start to collect some dirt, I fill up my entire inventory and after that I go to extend the dirt platform for a future project. In the end of the day I finish to extend that. Day 61. I made block of quartz from my ore quartz and I place that to smelt. I go to collect some dirt and after that I collect my smooth quartz. After that I start to work on the first pillar of the future villager breeder. In the end of the day I finish to make the pillars. Day 62. I start the day by making the platform where the villager will stay. After that I start to work on the collection system of the small villagers. And the end of the day was here. Day 63. I start the day by going to find some sand. I found a little island, but that's not enough and I go to find a desert. After some times I found a desert and I start to collect so much sand. I fill up my entire inventory with sand, and in the end of the day I arrive home. Day 1 stack or day 64. I start the day by placing 6 stacks of sand to smelt. I return to the breeder and I place some composter and bats. After that I start to work on the walls of the breeder by placing some quartz and glass. In the end of the day I place the trapdoors. Day 65. In the morning I start to work on the tube where a small villager will fall and with which I can transport that to another place. After I finish the tube I make a little room where I can store the small villagers. In the end of the day I collect my old potatoes. Day 66. I start the day by transforming the dirt and after that I plant some potatoes. After that I start to make a tunnel from the villagers to the breeder. After some time I finish to make the tunnel below the grass platform. In the end of the day I finish to make the tunnel up to the breeder. Day 67. I start the day with my 2 villagers, we transport that to the breeder. After some time I arrive with my villagers to the breeder. I give to that some potatoes and after a time the first baby is here. In the end of the day I destroyed a part of that stage. Day 68. I start the morning by going in Nether and collect some quartz. After some time I collect some quartz and I go in the frozen ocean portal. When I arrive here I start directly to collect pectites. In the end of the day I collect 3 stacks and 20 pectites. Day 69. In the morning I arrive home and I made block of quartz of my quartz. And after that I put that to smelt. Day 70. I collect my smooth quartz and I start to work on the design of the breeder. After I made a design for the walls I start to place some pectites in the interior. I start to make blue and light blue dye and after that I made blue and light blue glass. After that I start to place blue and light blue glass on the pectites. In the end of the day I finish to make the design for the villager breeder. Day 71. In the morning I give more potatoes and carrot to my villagers. After that I destroy the stairs to that. I go down to the villager room and I see that I have 3 villagers. After that I start to make an outline of my island. In the end of the day I finish to make a very big part of the island outline. Day 72. I start the day by collecting dirt. After I fill up my entire inventory with dirt I go to make bigger the dirt platform. To the end of the day I use a big part of my dirt. Day 73. I wake up early in the morning and I start to place the dirt I have. I use my old dirt and I go to make another shovel. I make the shovel and I place unbreaking 3 and efficiency 4 on that. Day 74. I start the day by collecting dirt because I need so much. After a very long time I fill up an entire chest with dirt and my inventory. And the night was here. Day 75. Because in the previous day I collect so much dirt, in that day I start to place that and make bigger the dirt platform. The end of day 75 is here and I complete a very big area with dirt. I start the day by making a diamond pickaxe and I enchant that with efficiency 4 and I get efficiency 4 and fortune 3. After that I go in Nether and I start to mine to find some ancient debris. After some times I found the first 2 pieces of ancient debris. I found another one, more 3. I use my old durability of my pickaxe and in the end of the day I got 12 pieces of ancient debris. Day 77. I start the day by cutting down some tree and after that I start to work on the future trading area. After some times I finish to make the place for 10 villagers. After that I start to work on the little system which with I can transport the villagers. In the end of the day I finish to make the system which with I transport the villagers to the surface. Day 78. In the morning I start to work on the dirt tube which in I transport the villagers. I make that tube until to the trading area, I place 1 hectare to each place and after that I start to transport the first villagers. In the end of the day I finish transport 2 villagers. Day 79. I continue the work by transporting more villagers. After some hard work in the end of that day I finish transport all 10 villagers. Day 80. In the morning I start to collect my old sugarcane and I made paper. After that I start to reset a villager trade until I get the best enchant from that. When I found a good enchant I block that. To the end of the day I get unbreaking 3, feather falling 3, fortune 3 and mending. Day 81. After some times I found a villager with protection 4 and I need this a lot. After that I start to destroy the dirt tunnel. When the night is approaching, I start to prepare a place for a zombie so I can transform the villager very easy in a zombie villager. After that I make a little trap and I go to looking for a zombie. The morning is here and unfortunately I don't found any zombie. Day 82 to 83. Accidentally I see a zombie below the mob farm. I attract that in the tunnel which is below the grass layer. I give to the zombie a stone sword to don't despawn, and after that I attract that to the villagers. And I coach that in my little trap. After that I go in nether to find another fortress and to get some blaze rod. After some times I found a fortress and I go in that to find a blazer spawner. I found a blaze spawner, I made the place safe and I start to kill the blaze. I beat some blaze and I got 31 blaze rod. When I go home I meet with a wither skeleton and I beat that hoping I can get a wither skull. Day 84. In the morning I made a brewing stand and I placed that in the front of a villager. I fill up some bottle with water, I place that in a brewing stand, I place blaze powder and a fermented spider ray and I start to make a weakness potion. In the end of the day I plant some oak sapling. Day 85. After that I start to transform the villagers in zombie villagers. I give weakness to the 3 villagers and after that I give 1 golden apple to each one. To the end of the day I transform more 3 villagers. Day 87. The first zombie villager was transformed back in a normal villager. After that I transform more 2 villagers in zombie villagers. After that I get unbreaking tree for only 1 emerald. I collect my old rotten flesh and I sell that to my cleric. Day 88. I start the morning by making books and I sell that to my villagers for emerald. After that I buy my first book with protection 4. I make more trades and I get 4 books with protection 4 for my future armor. I buy my first mending and after that I go to mine and I get 24 iron. Day 89. I start the day by destroying the dirt tube which in I transport the village. I made an anvil, I combine my 2 pickaxes with efficiency 4 and I get efficiency 5, unbreaking 3 and fortune 3, and after that I place mending on that. I go in nether to mine ancient debris and now I can repair my pickaxe with mining cords. I found the first 2 pieces of ancient debris. I found another one. After a long mining session I get 19 ancient debris. Day 90. In the morning I place my 19 ancient debris which I mined in the previous day to smelt and more 12 which I mined in the past. After that I go to mine gold because I need gold to craft netherite ingot. I got 55 pieces of gold and more other minerals. I collect my netherite scarp, I place the gold to smelt and I make my first 2 netherite ingot. Day 91. I made a full diamond armor without the helmet because of the helmet I have a very good enchant and I keep that. I made the smithing table and I transform my helmet from diamond into netherite. I place protection 4 to the each piece of my armor, feather falling 3 on my boots and after that I place unbreaking 3 to the each piece of my armor. After that I collect my gold and I make netherite ingot from my old netherite scarp. After that I transform my entire armor from diamond to netherite. Now I have a full netherite armor with protection 4. After that I transform my pickaxe into a netherite pickaxe, I place mending on my helmet and I place unbreaking 3 and mending on my sword, and after that I transform that into a netherite sword. Day 92. In the morning I make a bow and I go to enchant it. I don't want unbreaking 3, so I made an enchant on the book and after that I can get power 4 on my bow. I go in nether to mine quartz for XP and in my journey I found a portal ruin. I collect the gold block and after that I go to mine more quartz. Day 93. In the morning I place power 4 on my bow and I get power 4 and flame, and I don't want flame because I need punch. I make another bow and finally I get punch 2 and unbreaking 3. After that I buy power 4 from my villagers and I place that on my bow. After that I combine 2 shovels and I get efficiency 5 and unbreaking 3. I place mending on my shovel and after that I transform that in a netherite shovel. Now I go in nether to repair my shovel with XP by mining quartz. Day 94. I leave my quartz in the chest and I go to collect dirt with my new shovel. I fill up my inventory with dirt and I leave the dirt in 2 chests, and after that I fill up the inventory again to the end of the day. Day 95. Because now I have very more dirt, I start to work on the outline of my future industrial island. I work very hard and in the end of the day I finish to make the entire outline. Day 96. Because I remind with so much dirt, I start to extend my grass platform. I remind with a half inventory of dirt from the 2 chests I collect in the previous day and I fill up a very big area. Day 97. Because in 3 days I go to be the Ender Dragon, I start to cut down my little forest by hoping to get some apples to make the golden apples. In the end of the day, I get 14 apples. Day 98. In the morning, I made some golden apples, I buy some ender pearl for my killer nick, and after that I craft some eye of ender. I took some arrows, some bottles, and after that I start to go to the stronghold on my boat. In the end of the day, I arrive in a desert and I settle here for the night. Day 99. In the morning, I found the jungle and the port ruin. I cut down a jungle tree because I want the jungle sapling and I want to get cocoa bean. After some times, I found a stronghold and I start to dig directly to that. I found a stronghold and I start to explore that. Day 100 is here and finally I found the end portal. After that I activate the portal and I go to beat the dragon. I go up to the surface and I start to destroy the end crystals. I destroy the first end crystal, the second end crystal, the third end crystal, and finally I destroy the lost end crystal. I collect some dragon beads. Time I finish to beat the ender dragon. I get level 67 from the Ender Dragon. 101. I take the dragon egg and because I forgot to take some firework, I go home. In the spawn, I found some endstone XP and I make level 68. When I arrive home, I plant a jungle tree, some bamboo, I place the dragon egg in the trading area. I collect some obsidian because I want to make a portal in the stronghold and after that I made some firework. I got on my boat and I go back to the stronghold. Day 102 to 103. In the morning, I arrive at the stronghold and I go down. I made another portal and I turn on. I place my bed and I set my spawn point here. I go in a big end and I start to looking for end city. I found one and I go very fast to explore that. I beat my first shulker. I found a chest with some good items, but unfortunately I don't have a pickaxe with seal touch to take the ender chest. I play Minecraft for 7 years and I don't found in my entire life a helmet like this. With Unbreaking 3, Aqua Affinity, Mending, Protection 4 and Respiration 3. That's an incredible OP helmet. I leave here the coordinates and I leave the seed in the description. I took the elytra and I go to find another entity. After I took 5 elytra I consider that is enough and I go home. Day 104. When I return to the overworld I spawn a stronghold and I go home. The traveling in Nether with elytra is so easy. After a very short time, I arrive home. When I arrive home, I leave my all item in that chest. After that, I buy some book with mending, I place Unbreaking 3 and mending on my elytra and after that I place mending on each piece of my armor. To the end of the day, I gather my all quartz I have in my chests. Day 105. In the morning, I made block of quartz from my old quartz and I realized that I have so much quartz block. After that, I made more furnace and I placed my old quartz to smelt. Because I don't want to have a dirt tunnel on the surface, I decided me to make a tunnel underground to the trading area. I cut down the mushroom and I start to work on the new trading area. Day 106. In the morning, I continue to work on the new trading area. I need birchwood and I think I have a tree in a little island around my island. And I go to that. I found a tree, I cut down and after I get some sapling, I replant that. When I arrive home, I took some bone, I plant the tree and I grow up that. After that I continue the work on the trading area by placing some trapdoors and stairs. I made some stonecutter and I placed that. Now I start to transport the first villager. To the end of the day, I finish transport the first villager. Day 107. I start the day by transporting more villagers to the trading area. I work hard and in the end of the day I finish transport more 5 villagers. Day 108. In the morning I continue to transport more 2 villagers. I finish to transport the 2 villagers and after that I go to mine gold. In the end of the day I gather a lot of gold and more other minerals. Day 109. In the morning I place my gold and iron to smelt. After that I start to prepare a place for a zombie. I prepare the place for a zombie and now I start to move the zombie here. I make a tunnel to move the zombie and I attract that in his new place. And I couch the zombie here. To the end of the day I plant a lot of tree. Day 110. I took my gold and iron, I make some golden apples, I gather one splash potion of weakness and I go to transform the first 3 villagers. After I transform that I give a splash potion and a golden apple to each one. And I transform 3 more villagers. After that I gather more coal and I place more coal in my furnace. My first villager was transformed back in normal villager, but I want more discount and I go to make more golden apples. In the end of the day I cut down my oil tree and I get 4 apples. Day 111. I collect my gold and I made 1 more golden apple and I go to transform again my first 3 villager. After I transform the 3 villager, I give the special potion and 1 golden apple to each one. The first one transformed back in normal villager and now I can sell 1 clay ball to 1 emerald. That's a very good trade. I made some trade with the 3 villager and after some times I transformed the 3 villager in master and now I can buy a quartz block with a single emerald. Day 112. Because I need a pickaxe with seal touch, I took my diamond pickaxe with seal touch and I go to obtain 2 diamond pickaxe with efficiency 4 from my enchantment table. I gather 2 pickaxe with efficiency 4 and with the second pickaxe I get seal touch. I combine the 2 pickaxe and after that I place some breaking tree and mending on that. Because I need more 1 netherite cup to make a netherite ingot, I go to mine ancient debris. After I get the netherite ingot, I transform my diamond pickaxe into a netherite. To the end of the day, I test my new pickaxe and I get 6 stack of stone. Day 113 to 160. I start the morning by sell my stone to the villagers. I consider it too slow the terraforming process and for that I need a beacon. To obtain a beacon I need to beat a wither and for a wither I need 3 wither skull and I go in nether to beat some wither skeleton. I beat the first wither skeleton, I beat the second wither skeleton, I beat the third wither skeleton. After 102 wither skeleton I get the first wither skull. You can see in my statistic that I get the first wither skull after I beat 102 wither skeleton. After another very long time I get 1 more wither skeleton skull. After some times I get the last wither skeleton I need. Day 117. In the morning I leave my all items from nether here and after that I go in end to beat the wither. I spawn the wither below the end portal. And I start to beat that. The last hit and I get the nether star. After that I collect some obsidian because I need obsidian to make the beacon. When I arrive home I made the beacon and I start to gather my ore resources. In the end of the day I made a little beacon with my ore resources. Day 118. In the morning I decided me to go to find a lush cave because in the lush cave I can find so much clay and if I sell the clay to the villagers I get so much emeralds. After some times I found the first lush cave and I start to collect clay. I fill up my entire inventory with clay of a little part of the clay from the caves. I arrive home and I start to sell the clay to the villagers. At the end of the day I collect my old sugarcane. Day 119. Because the mob farm storage is full, I extend that a little bit. After that I gather my gold from the beacon, I sell my clay to the villagers and I cut down my oak tree to get apples. In the end of the day I gather 13 apples. Day 120. In the morning I make some glass bottles, I fill up that with water and after that I made some weakness potion. After that I start to transform more tree villagers in zombie villagers and now I give them weakness effect and some golden apples. After I transform the 3 villagers, I want to transform more 2 villagers. When the villagers are transformed back in normal villager, I start to sell clay for emeralds. Day 121. In the morning, I make 2 shulker boxes. After that, I go to fill up with dirt from that part of the island. At the end of the day, I finish to fill up the 2 shulkers and a big part of my inventory. Day 122. In the morning, I took my old gold and I go to make some golden apples. After that, I took the weakness potion and I go to transform the 2 villagers in zombie villager. I give the special potion of weakness and 2 golden apples. After that, I start to sell more clay to my villagers. And some rotten flesh to the cleric. After a very long trading session, I get 42 block of emeralds. Because I want to make some terraforming in that part of the island, I start to make a full beacon, but that was not enough and I go back to trade. After I trade a lot of time with my villagers, I got more 29 block of emeralds. In the end of the day, I make more 4 shulker box to the next day. Day 123. Because I need more clay to sell my villagers, I go back in the lush cave to collect. When I arrive, I place down the shulker box and I start to collect the ore clay from that case. In the end of the day, I finish to collect the ore clay and I fill up 2 shulker box and a half. Day 124. In the morning, I place down my shulker box with clay and I start to sell that to my villagers. After some times I got more 25 block of emeralds. In the end of the day I placed that 25 block of emeralds and that was not enough. Day 125. In the morning I found a very interesting trade and I started to sell some quartz to my villager. After that I made block from my ore minerals and I go to place that into the beacon. But unfortunately again that was not enough and I go back to make more crates with my villagers. After another long trading session I got 17 block of emeralds. And finally that was enough to complete the beacon. After I complete the beacon, I start to make some terraforming. The end of the day 125. Day 126. In the morning, I decided me to remove the dirt and stone, which is about the future grass layer for a future project. In the end of the day, I managed to remove a big part of the dirt and the stone. Day 127. In the morning, I continue to remove the stone from that part of the island. In the end of the day, I managed to remove the dirt and stone in that part of the island where I want to work in the future. Day 128 to 129. I took my shovel with seal touch and I go to collect some grass blocks. I sell some clay to my villagers and I get some emeralds. After that, I continue to work to extend the dirt platform. After some times, I managed to complete the grass platform and the grass was extended so much. Day 130. In the morning, I place some sand to smelt because I need glass in the near future. In the next part of the day, I start to work on the iron farm and I start to work on the iron golem collection system platform. In the end of the day, I place the water and I finish to make the iron golem collection system. Day 131. In the morning, I sell more clay to my villagers because that's the way to repair my item with XP from that. After some times, I repair my old item and I get so much emeralds. After that, I go down in my mine to get some deep slate. Day 132. In the morning, I finished to make the 2 iron golem spawning platform and I make some deep slate wall. After I made that, I start to place the deep slate wall around the spawning platform. I made some fence gate and I start to place that. And finally, I place the water. After some times, I finished to make the boat spawning platforms. Day 133. In that day, I decided me to go in some village to collect bats because I don't have a wood source and I think that's the best way to get so much bats. I found another village in savannah. I found another village in desert and I fill up my entire inventory with bats. Day 134. In the morning I make some barrels to my villagers and I go to work on the place where the future villager will stay. I finish to make the place for the villagers. After that I start to work on the tunnel and the tube which I can transport the villagers here. Day 135. In the morning I work on a tube with water and soul sand which I can transport the villagers up. After that, I collect some kelp to make water block and I place the soul sand to make a water elevator. And now I start to transport the first villager. In the end of the day, I finish transport the first 3 villagers. Day 136 to 137. In the morning, I make 3 tubes which I can transport the villagers to the remaining 3 places for villagers. In the end of day 137, I finish transport the all villagers which need that layer of the iron farm. Day 138. In the morning, I thinking how I can make the place where the zombie will stay. And I start to work on that. I finished to make the place for a zombie and the night is here and now I go to look for a zombie. I don't understand how is that possible, but I found so much zombie around my villager breeder. I coach that and I give some items. Day 139. I start the day by move the first zombie to the iron farm. After some times I finished to place that in his place. In the end of the day, I made the iron golem killing system. Day 140. In the morning, I make a lever and I go to test the iron farm. As you can see, the iron farm worked perfectly. And I got my first piece of iron from the iron farm. After that, I finish transport another zombie and again I test the iron farm. And the iron farm worked perfectly. Day 141. In that day, I decided me to work on a timer for the iron farm. After I prepare my items, I start to build that. I finish to make the timer and all stuff work perfectly. After that, to the end of the day, I start to plant some saplings. Day 142. In the morning, I got some wood, I make some chests and I start to work on a storage system to the iron farm. I collect my iron and I make some hoppers. After some time, I start to work on a sorting system because I want to sort the flowers and the iron. I made some filter block and I go to configure the sorter. And now I have a sorter which worked perfectly. Day 143. In that day I continued to work on the iron farm by tiring the hoppers to the sorters. The last two pieces, and now I finished to tire the iron farm to the storage. Day 144. That morning I decided me to start the demushroomization project, which is to remove the ore mushroom which is above the future grass layer. Because with my pickaxe that process is very slow, I decided me to make a pickaxe with seal touch, and I made that. I placed some breaking tree on that pickaxe, and now I have seal touch and a breaking tree on that diamond pickaxe, and I continue the demushroomization project. And that is much faster. In the end of day 146 I finished to demushroomizate the entire island. Day 147. In that day I decided me to remove the ore dirt which is above the grass layer, and I start to work. In the end of the day I finished to remove a lot of dirt. Day 148. In that day I continue to remove the dirt which is above the future grass layer, and I hope in that day I finished to remove the old dirt which is in that mountain. Because my shovel is gonna out to the durability, I go to my villagers and I sell some clay to make experience to repair my item. I work hard, and in the end of the day I finished to remove the old dirt which is above the future grass layer. Day 149. In that day I decided me to remove the old dirt which is above the future grass layer, which is in the rest part of the island. In the end of the day, because I work very hard, I finished to remove the old dirt which is above the future grass layer from the entire island. Day 150. In that day I decided me to continue to extend the dirt platform because now it has so much dirt and I have space. After some time I finished to extend that part, and to the night I make another one. Day 151. In the morning I found the slime chunk and I start to make some terraforming on the surface. After I made the terraforming on the surface, I dig down because the slime are spawning below level 40. Because I want to make my work easier, I prepare a place for a beacon. I make block of iron from all my iron, and after that I start to broke the beacon. Day 152. In the morning I start to build the beacon. I activate the beacon and I place H2 on that so I can mine very fast. And I start to work. I finish to make the outline of the slime chunk and I start to dig down. In the end of the day I mine a lot of stone. Day 153. In that day I continue to work on mine the slime chunk. After some time my pickaxe durability is gone out and I go to repair that with XP from my villagers. I arrive to the villagers and I can say that's a very fast way to repair their items. I got a lot of emeralds and the end of the day is here. Day 154. In the morning I collect some sugarcane, gunpowder and I make fireworks. After that I finish to dig out the whole slime chunk. After I mine the whole slime chunk I realize that I waste my time because in Mushroom Island the slime are not spawned in slime chunk, and unfortunately I waste so much time. After that I found the slime chunk which is in not Mushroom Island and I start to work on that. I start to mine directly down, and after some times in the end of the day I set up a beacon. Day 155. In the morning I place H2 on the beacon and I start to work. I go up to level 40 and I start to mine. I made the outline of the slime chunk and I start to dig directly down. I work until the night and my pickaxe durability is gone out. Day 156. I start the morning by selling clay to my villagers to repair my pickaxe, and after some times I get a lot of emeralds and I go back to mine. In the end of the day I finish to mine the entire slime chunk. Day 157 to 158. In that day I decided me to mine around the slime chunk, 3 blocks in 3 parts and 5 blocks in 1 part. Because my pickaxe durability is gone out again, I go to my villagers to sell clay to repair my pickaxe with XP from that. After some times I finished to mine the whole area for the future slime farm. Day 159. In the morning I took a lot of dirt and I start to extend the dirt platform in that part of the island. The night is here and I place a lot of dirt from here to the animals. Day 160. In the morning I continue to extend the dirt platform in front of my starter base. I work hard and in the end of the day I place a lot of dirt. Day 161. Because I need pumpkin for my slime farm, in the morning I decided me to explore a little bit, looking for a pumpkin. After I explored a little bit I found a giant mountain for 1.18 and that's amazing. I found a portal ruin, but unfortunately I don't found any pumpkins here. After some times I found the first pumpkin in that little taiga. Plugs come to me and I found more to pumpkin. When I arrive home, I start to plant the pumpkin. I took some bone from my mob farm and I start to grow up the pumpkins. In the next part of the day, I start to collect a lot of gravel from my island. Day 162. In the morning, I see my first 2 pumpkin, and after that I replant that because I want to extend the pumpkin farm. After that I go to my villagers to sell some clay to make XP for repair my pickaxe. And I fill up an entire HarcCore box with emeralds. After that I go in Nether to collect some magma cube because I need that to the slime farm. I go back to the future slime farm and I beat a lot of mobs. To the end of the day I place a magma cube around the slime chunk. Day 163. In the morning I extend a little bit the pumpkin farm. After that I transform some pumpkin in carved pumpkin, and after that I make some jack-o'-lanterns and I start to work on the first platform of the slime farm. After that I go to my villagers to buy some quartz block because that's a very good source of quartz and I need so much. And in the end of the day I start to collect some coal because I need coal to smelt my quartz. Day 164. In that day I decided to extend the trading area, but unfortunately my breeder was broken, and for that I need to move the 2 villagers back to the breeder. And for that I make a tunnel to transport the 2 villagers up. After I finish the tunnel, I start to transport the 2 villagers back to the breeder. A little bit time late, I arrive with the boat villager back to the breeder. I buy more quartz from my villagers, and after that, to the end of the day, I work on the slime farm. Day 165. In the morning, I took a lot of dirt and I started to place dirt in the all holes where was mushroom. After some times, I managed to fill up the all holes, and now I go to extend the dirt platform in that part of the island. In the meantime, I go to my villagers to sell some clay and buy quartz. In the end of the day, I managed to extend the dirt platform so much. Day 166. In the morning, I destroy that stone structure and instead I place dirt. After I remove the stone and I place dirt, I go to my villager and I sell clay and buy quartz from that. Day 167. In the morning, I go down to the slime farm to take my beacon. I took my all iron, I make iron blocks, and after that I start to make the beacon in that part of the island. I activate the beacon, I place haste 2 on that, and after that I start to make terraforming. To the end of the day, I make a lot of terraforming. Day 168. Early in the morning, I start to continue to make terraforming. I make a lot of terraforming and my pickaxe durability is gonna out, so I go to my villagers to repair that with XP from that. In the end of the day, I got some quartz block from my villagers and I go to place that to smelt. Day 169. Early in the morning, I start to remove more stone. I work hard until to the night, and after a long time I made a lot of terraforming again. Day 170. In the morning again I start to work on the terraforming. I make a lot of terraforming, but again my pickaxe is gone out of durability and I go to my villager to repair that. I work until to the night and finally I finish to remove the old stone. Day 171. In that day I decided to fill up that entire area with dirt and I start to work. I worked so hard in that day and in the end of the day I finished to fill up a big part with dirt. Day 172. In the morning I continue to place a lot of dirt. After some times, finally I finished to place the old dirt and a little bit more. After that I start to sell clay and buy quartz from my villagers. After that I place some coal and quartz in my furnaces. To the end of the day I transform a lot of pumpkin in carved pumpkin. Day 173. In that day I go back to work on the slime farm and I start to make some platforms. I use my old quartz and that was enough for only 2 more platforms. In the next part of the day I start to prepare some place for villagers. And to the end of the day I finish to prepare that place. Day 174. In that day I start to go with some villagers to the new trading area, and the first one is a baby. I move the first, the second. Because now I have so much iron, I decided to make some rail to make my work easier. In the end of the day I finished to move 7 new villagers. Day 175. In that day I decided to move the electronal villager to the other place because I want to extend the new trading area. I prepare a little room for that and I start to move that to the new location. I work until to the night and finally I finish to transport the old villagers here. Day 176. In the morning I decided to remove the old trading area. Because with my axe that process is very slow, I decided to make a netherite axe with efficiency 5. For that, firstly I buy 2 books with efficiency 4. And I made efficiency 5. I made a new diamond axe and I placed on that efficiency 5, unbreaking 3 and mending. Because I want to make that axe into a netherite axe, I go to mine some ancient debris. After some times I got enough ancient debris and I go home. Day 177. In the morning I place my ancient debris to smelt. I made a netherite ingot and after that I made my axe into a netherite axe. And I start again to remove the old trading area. After some times I finish to remove the entire old trading area and I start to extend the new one. In the end of the day I finish to make the first floor of the future trading area. Day 178. In the morning I start to sell some clay and buy quartz from my villagers because I need a lot of quartz. After that I start to max out the villagers. After some times I finish to max out my villagers so I can buy quartz from that. In the end of the day I finish to prepare a lot of place to my villagers and the moving system. Day 179. In that day, firstly, I go to chop down my entire forest for wood. After some times, I finish to cut down the entire tree except the big tree, and after that I start to replant the tree. And in the end of the day, I finish to replant the old tree. Day 180. I start the day by selling more clay and buying quartz from my villagers. After that I start to make some birch trapdoors and after that I start to place that behind the old villager place. I finish to place the trapdoor and now I start to place smooth quartz slab. At the end of the day I finish to place the old smooth quartz slabs. Day 181. In that day I decided to go back to the slime farm and to start to work on that. I use my quartz and I need more quartz to make more one platform and a half. To get more quartz I go to my villager and I sell clay to buy quartz. I get a lot of quartz and I place that to smelt and after that I make trade again. I get a lot of smooth quartz and I go back to work on the slime farm. I beat some slime for slime bore and after that I need to make another platform but not today. Day 182. In that morning I sell a lot of clay and I buy a lot of quartz. I got some smooth quartz and I go back to the slime farm to make the last platform. I beat a slime and after that I start work. After some times I finish to make the last platform and after that I start to transport some villagers to the new trading area. At the end of the day I finish transport 5 villagers. Day 183. In the morning I decided to fill up another big part with dirt. I work hard in the entire day and in the end of the day I finish to fill up a very big part with dirt. Day 184. Because in the near future I need a lot of gold to make golden apples to transform back the zombie villagers into villagers, I decided in this day to start to work on a gold farm and firstly I need to collect a lot of magma cube. I make 2 shulker boxes and after that I go directly in nether to collect magma cube. And I start to work. After some times I finish to fill up 2 shulker boxes with magma cube and a little part of my inventory. Day 185. I start the day by gathering all items I need to break the bedrock. After I gather all materials which I need to break the bedrock, I go to find a good spot to break the bedrock. That good spot is a bedrock block which is on layer 127. I climb to the highest point of the ladder and which I use the ender pearl I was teleported above the bedrock. After that I start to work on a system which with I can break the bedrock. Unfortunately I don't succeed to break the bedrock for the first try. Finally after 2 or 3 try I succeed to break the bedrock. Day 186. I took my ore quartz and I make a lot of ladders. I took some glass from the furnaces and I go in nether. When I arrive in nether I start to make a very high pillar of quartz which on I place ladders. At the end of the day I succeed to make a little outline of the spawning platform. Day 187 to 188. I started the day by getting a ghast and I made an achievement. After that, because I need a lot of magma cube to make the platform, I go down in nether and I start to collect magma cube. Accidentally, I found an ancient debris and I took that very fast. After some times, I finished to fill up a shulker box with magma cube and in another one I fill up with 9 more stack of magma cube. Day 189. In the morning I finished to make 3 platform and now I need to make more 1 and I finished to make the spawning platform. In the end of the day I finished to make a half of the last platform. Day 190. Early in the morning I start to work on the last platform. I work so hard and I finish to make that 4 spawning platforms. Because I need a lot of glass to the gold farm, I start to place some sand to smelt. Because I need more coal, I start to collect some coal from my island. And I place that in my furnaces. Day 191. I gather a lot of glass and I go directly in Nether. When I arrive in Nether, I start to make a system to prevent the ghast spawning. After a lot of time and after I beat a lot of ghast, I managed to make the system which prevent the ghast spawning. Day 192. Because I need more glass and I use my old sand, I decided me to go in the desert, and when I arrive I start directly to collect sand. After I fill up an entire shulker box with sand and a big part of my inventory, I go home. When I arrive home, I place a lot of sand to smelt. Day 193. In the morning, I start to transport more 4 villagers to the new trading area. After I get a lot of stack of glass from my furnaces, I go back in Nether to work on the gold farm. In the end of the day, I managed to make 25% of the glass platform. Day 194. In the morning, I get a lot of more glass, and after that I go directly to place that to the gold farm. I use my old glass and I make a half of the glass platform. After that I made more 17 furnaces and now I have 27 furnaces. I fill up with coal and sand and now I can smelt a lot of glass very fast. After that I start to prepare some item for the gold farm, and the first item is grindstone. Day 195. In the morning I made some hoppers, I collect my glass and I cut down some birch tree. After I collect my glasses, I am very close to fill up an entire shulker box, and after that I go to place that to the gold farm. After some times I finish to place the ore glass which I need to the glass platform, and after that I start to work on the killing system of the zombified piglin. Firstly I work on the storage and I need more items, so I go home. Day 196 to 197. In the morning I start to work on the collection system by placing a minecart with hopper, and after that I push a quartz block in that. After that I start to work on the entity craving system by placing 20 minecart in the same block. I make a big part of the AFK point, and now I need a zombified piglin here. I name Zeno the zombified piglin, and after that I transport that to the AFK point. I make the walls and now the farm are worked perfectly. And I got a lot of gold. Day 198. In that morning I decided that's the time to start to work on the super smelter. I made so much chest and I go to place the input chest and the output chest. I make a lot of hoppers and I start to work on the collection system of the smelted items. After some time I made a big part of the smelted item collection system. To the end of the day I finished to place a lot of furnaces on the top of the hoppers. Day 199. In that day I decided to cut down a big part of that high density forest because I need a lot of wood to the smelter. The end of the day is approaching and I get so much wood. I stay a little bit more in the night to plant the old sapling I get. Day 200. In that morning I start to make a lot of more chests. I make more hoppers and I complete that part of the collection system. I spent a lot of time to mine that so much cobblestone and I made furnaces, and after that I place that on the top of the hoppers. I made so much more hoppers and I start to place that behind the ore furnaces. The end of the day is here and finally I finished to place the ore hoppers behind the furnaces. Day 201. I start the morning in the giant cave because in this day I decided to remake the deep dark city from the new Minecraft update. I took my old emeralds from my old beacon and I took a lot of emeralds from my villager. After that I go back in the cave and I started to make a beacon. I made the beacon and now I need to make a way to the surface so I can activate the beacon. In the end of the day I arrive to the surface and that is very close to my island. Day 202 to day 203. I activate the beacon and I place on that haze 2. After that I start lighting the cave where will stay the future deep dark city. After that I found a natural generation fish farm. The fish are spawning in water and after that he fall out of the water and die. In the next part of that today I start to make a lot of terraforming here to prepare the place for the future deep dark city. Day 204. I made so much terraforming the previous 2 days, but when I see the new structure of the deep dark city I realize that I need a lot of more space and I start to work again to make terraforming to prepare the place for the new deep dark city. To the end of day 205 I make a lot of terraforming and I hope that's enough so I can remake the deep dark city here. Day 206. Because I need candles to remake the deep dark city I need a honeycomb farm, and for that I go to find a bee nest. After some time I found a bee nest and some bee very close to that. I took some flowers and I attract the bee to the bee nest. I placed down some flowers and I coach the bee in the bee nest. Day 207. I start the day by making some hoppers and I go to work on the honeycomb farm. I made a collection system and now I start to work on the structure, and after that I start to work on the redstone part of the honeycomb farm. The rest part of the day I spent by making trade with my villagers to sell clay and buy quartz from that. Day 208. In that morning I start to work on the body of that building. Because I need a lot of dispenser to the honeycomb farm, I start to make some. After I place the dispenser, I start to make a lot of shears and I start to fill up the old dispenser with shears. I took some flowers from my iron farm and I start to place that. And to the end of the day I multiply my bees. Day 209. In the morning I start to work on the sheep farm because I need grey wool to my deep dark city. After a little bit time I finish to make a little collection system. I made some minecart with hoppers and I start to place that. I finish to place the minecart with hoppers and I start to place the grass. I made some observers and I placed that. To the end of the day I made some dispensers and I placed that. Day 210. In the morning I beat a creeper and after that I continue to work on the redstone part of the sheep farm. After I finish to make the redstone part, I start to transport my sheep to the sheep farm. I killed some sheep in that turbo and after that I transport the sheep into his place on the sheep farm. That was very hard because the sheep don't want to go in his place. I worked very hard and after some time I finished to transport all 6 sheep in that sheep farm. Day 211. Because I need grey wool to my deep dark city, I need some grey dye, and for that I need to get some black dye. Black dye I can get from squid, and I start to beat some squid. I get some grey dye and I go to make my sheep into grey sheep, and I got the first piece of grey wool. I return to my bees with some flowers and I multiply that. And I collect some honeycomb. I made some bee nest and after that I go to place that. Day 212. In the morning I go back down to work on the deep dark city. Because I don't need more the beacon, I destroy that. After that I start to prepare some materials for the future deep dark city. I work hard to the end of the day and I make a big part of the bridge, but I go back to the surface because I need more materials. Day 213. In that day I go in Nether to collect some basalt because I need smooth basalt to my deep dark city. After I took a lot of basalt I think that's enough and I go home. When I arrive back in the overworld I make some cracked deep slate brick and after that I place some basalt to smelt. After I gather some materials, at the end of the day I work on the tunnel from the deep dark city. And that's look like very good. Day 214. In the morning I give some fish to the cat which is spawned around the iron farm and now I have 3 cats. After that I collect the old wood I have in the wool farm. I gather some honeycomb and I make candles from my deep dark city. And I place it. At the end of the day I made another structure. Day 215. In the morning I start to work on some tunnels of that deep dark city. After some time I finish to make a starter structure of the tunnels, and I start to fill up the structure with grey wool. After that I go back to the surface to multiply my bees because I need more honeycomb. After that I go to check how many wool make my sheep farm. I continue to work on the tunnels of the deep dark city and I make the first wall. Day 260. In the morning of that day I continue to work on the walls of the tunnels of the deep dark city. After some time I finish to make a big part of the wall of the tunnels. I go back to the surface to multiply my bees because I need a lot of candles. I collect the wool from my sheep farm because that farm are slow. I go to my other sheep and I make grey sheep. After that I collect a lot of grey wool. Day 217. In the morning I collect my old pumpkins. After that I meet with a rendering trader and that don't give too much stuff. I go in Nether and I start to collect soul soil because I need a lot of. I arrive in the overworld and I start to make some soul torch. With that soul torch I make soul lanterns to my deep dark city. And to the end of the day I start to place a lot of soul lanterns. Day 218. After I made a bridge and a tunnel I decided me to make another tunnel to that deep dark city. And I start to work. After a lot of time I finish to make a big part of the tunnel but I need more wool. For grey wool I go back to the surface and I start to collect that from my sheep. Day 219 to 221. In that morning I decided me to start to work on the biggest structure of that deep dark city. That are going to stay here. I start to work on that structure and that is too bigger for that little cave, and for that I start to make some terraforming on the top of the cave. In the meantime I go back to the surface to collect more wool. At the end of day 221 I finished to make the terraforming on the top of the cave. Day 222. In that morning I decided me to extend the wool farm because I need a lot of wool to my deep dark city, and in that way the sheep can faster grow up his wool. And in that way I gather a lot of grey wool. I return to my deep dark city and I finish to make the top of that biggest structure. Day 223. I start the morning again with my sheep by collecting more grey wool. I go in Nether to collect some glowstone because I need that to my deep dark city. For the rest part of the day I go back to my deep dark city. Day 224. I start the day by gathering a lot of obsidian because I need that for a special effect to my deep dark city. I gather 50 pieces of obsidian and that is enough. I gather some soul cell behind my portal. After that I collect a lot of cobblestone from that mountain. Now I go to collect some wood. In the end of the day I get a lot of materials to my deep dark city. Day 225. I start the morning by made some soul campfire. After that I go behind my giant structure and I start to work. I made another portal and I activate that. And now we get that beautiful effect behind the giant structure. After that I place some chain in the tunnel of the deep dark city. After I work on a lot of details, in the end of day 225 I finished to make the entire deep dark city from the new Minecraft update and I very like how it's look like. Day 226. I start the morning on another island because in that day I want to start to work on the Guardian farm. Here is the ocean monument and I go to explore that. Because I need some air in the ocean monument I start to craft some doors. I craft a lot of doors and now I go directly to beat the 3 Guardian boss. I found the first one and I start to beat that. I beat the first one, I beat the second, and finally I beat the third one, and now the ocean monument is free. I found the sponge room and I start to collect the sponge. In the end of the day I got 1 stack and 29 wet sponge. Day 227. Early in the morning I go back to my island to smelt my sponge. After that I made 3 chests, I made 3 shulker boxes and now I have 4 empty shulker boxes. To the end of the day I go to my desert to collect a lot of sand because I need so much sand to the ocean monument. Day 228. I worked so hard and finally I finished to fill up my all 4 shulker box with sand. After that I go to my ocean monument and I start to place a lot of sand. The end of the day is here and I succeed to make a little sand wall. Day 229. In the morning of the day I start to make an outline of the ocean monument with sand. After I finish the outline I continue to work on the sand wall. After some times I found a very efficient way to place the sand. The night is here and I finished to make one part of the 4 walls. Day 230. The morning I start to complete that little part of the first wall. After some times I found another very efficient way to place the sand very fast. The end of the day is here and I finished to complete another big part of the walls. Day 231. In the morning I go back in the deep ocean and I continue to place sand. After some times I discover that I can place 4 blocks, not 3, in that way. That is so fast. The end of day is here and I finished to make 75% of the sand walls. Day 232. In the morning I start to work on the remaining part of the sand walls. After a lot of work I finished to make the outline of the ocean monument. After that I start to make some section because I want to make my work easier to remove the water. I work hard to the night and I finished to make the first section. Day 233. In that morning I decided me to go in Nether to repair my all items with XP for my gold farm. After that I go in the closest desert and I start to collect sand. After a lot of time I finished to fill up the all 4 shulker box with sand. I return to my ocean monument and I continue to work on that. I work hard and in the end of the day I place a lot of sand. Day 235. Early in the morning I start to place a lot of sand. I work hard until to the night and I place so much sand. Day 236. In that day I decided me to go home because I want to work on the super smelter. And for that firstly I start to collect a lot of wood. I work until to the night and I got a lot of wood. Day 237. In the morning I leave my all wood in that chest and after that I go to collect some. And after that I go to collect my all iron from my iron farm. I made some oak planks, some chests and after that I made a lot of hoppers. And after that I start to place a hopper on the top of each furnace. After some times I finished to place the all hoppers and now I need a lot of chests because I want to make a little storage behind the all furnace. I spent a lot of time but finally I finished to place a lot of double chests behind the all furnace. After that I place a lot of hoppers on the top of some double chests and after that to the end of the day I start to collect wood. Day 238. In the morning of that day I continue to collect wood. After I cut down my entire forest, I start to replant that. I work until the night and finally I finished to replant the all tree. Day 239. In the morning I took my all iron, I make a lot of hoppers and I start to place that on the top of each double chest. After that I start to work on the fuel distribution system. After some times I use my all hoppers and now I go back to the ocean monument to work on that. Day 240. In that morning I returned home, I took my beacon, I made my beacon, and now I start to make some terraforming in that part of the island. I work until the night and half of my pickaxe durability is gonna out and my shovel entire durability is gonna out, so I decided me to go to my gold farm to repair the boat item. Day 241 to day 242. In that day I decided me to go back to the ocean monument and work on that. I worked hard in the previous day and I used my old sand, and for that I need to go back in my desert to collect more 4 shulker blocks with sand. The end of the day is here and I collect a lot of sand. Day 243. In that day I continue to collect sand because I need so much. I work until the night and my shovel durability is gonna out, but I managed to complete the 4 shulker blocks and that part of my inventory. Day 244. In that day I return to the ocean monument and I start to place a lot of sand. I work hard until the night and I complete a big part with sand. Day 245. I start the day again on the ocean monument and I continue to place sand. I work hard until the night and finally I finish to place the all sand. Day 246. In that morning I start to make some obsidian because I need a portal to my ocean monument. After that I took my sponge, I arrived to the ocean monument and I make another portal. And that are a very good location to smelt my sponge. After that I go back to my ocean monument and I start to remove the water. I use my old sponge and I remove a big part of the water. Day 247. In the morning I finished to collect my old wet sponge, and that's the moment when I decided me to go to explore another ocean monument because I need a lot of sponge. I beat the first boss, the second one, and finally I beat the last boss. The mining fatigue effect are gonna out and now I can start to collect the sponge. To the end of the day I got a lot of sponge. Day 248. In that day I decided me to continue to explore another ocean monument because I beat the Guardian very easy. I beat the first one. That was the moment when I'm very close to die, but I'm lucky and I'm escape. And after some moments I beat that. And now I start to collect the wet sponge. After that I go to another ocean monument and I start to explore that. When I beat the last boss, the end of the day is here. Day 249. I found the sponge room and I start to collect that. That ocean monument are 4 rooms with sponge and I got so much sponge to the end of that day. Day 250. In the morning I go in Nether and I start to smelt very fast my sponge. After some times I got 6 stack and 46 piece of sponge. And now I continue to remove the water. The end of the day is here and I finished to remove the old water from the first. Day 251. In the morning I place an entire shulker box of sand to smelt. After that I go in Nether to collect some magma block and an enderman attack me. After I fill up my entire inventory with magma block and netherrack, I return home. Day 252. In the morning I return to my ocean monument because I think I have a lot of sand here and I need sand. Because I need gravel, I start to collect the ore gravel which is on my island. But firstly I need to repair my shovel because his durability is gone out. When I return in the overworld I got a lot of gold. And I start to work. The end of the day is here and I got so much gravel. Day 253. In the morning I made some red dye and after that I made red concrete powder. And after that I start to transport the powder in solid concrete. I arrive in a very high place and I jump down. After a lot of time, in the end of the day, I finally transform the oak powder in solid concrete. Day 254. In the morning, I took my old glass from the super smelter and I transformed that in red glass. I go down to the slime farm and I collect a lot of slime ball, and after that I start to work on the design of the slime farm. I made a big part of the design of the slime farm, but unfortunately my red concrete was not enough. For that I go back to the surface and I start to make some red concrete. At the end of the day I got a lot of red concrete. Day 256. I work on the entire day on the design of the slime farm and finally I finished to make the entire design of the slime farm. And I think that's look like very good. Day 257. In the morning I took my iron and gold. And I start to make some rail, and because I don't have redstone for power rail I need to go in the mine to mine a lot of redstone. The end of the day is here and I got only 40 pieces of redstone dust. Day 258. In that day I continue to mine redstone, but now I go very deep for that. Accidentally I found some diamonds. After some times I found one of the rarest mob in Minecraft. That's a zombie with a full diamond armor and enchants. That's a very rare mob. Because that is a very rare mob I decided me to go with that to the surface and to place that in a special location. The end of the day is here and I continue to move the zombie. Day 259. In the morning I continue to move that zombie with a full diamond armor to a special location. After some time I arrive to the surface with that and I block that here. In the end of the day, I give to that a name because I don't want to despawn. Day 260. In the morning, I make some power rail, some redstone block, and after that I go to work on the collection system of the slime farm. The end of the day is here and I finished to place a lot of rail and power rail for the collection system. Day 261. Firstly, I made some chests and hoppers. After that, I made a system which I moved the item from the minecart to that double chest. After that, I go to the surface and I start to work on the surface building. I work on it all night and in the end of the day I finished to make a little structure. Day 262. In the morning I continue to work on the surface building of the slime farm. After some time I finished to make that above the water and I add some details. Because I need smooth quartz to do the details, I place some quartz to smelt. Day 263. In the morning I make a lot of white concrete powder and I start to transform that in solid concrete. After a lot of time I finish transform the ore powder in solid concrete. And I start to work on some details to that platform. Day 264. In the first part of the day I finish to make a big part of the design of that pillar and after that I go to make more white concrete because I need that. And I finish to make the design of that little pillar. After that I took some emeralds and I go to my villager to buy some quartz. And I place that quartz to smelt. In the end of the day I got some smooth quartz. Day 265. In the morning I start to make a bridge to that pillar. After some time I finish to make the bridge to the pillar and some stairs in that. After that I go to the desert to collect cactus. Day 266. In that morning I extend a little bit the storage of the mob farm because that is so full. After that I start to work on the platform because here I want to make a slime statue. I took my hourglass, I buy more quartz from my villagers, I made a lot of slime glass, and in the end of the day I start to collect gravel. Day 267. In the morning I made lime concrete powder. And I transform that in solid concrete. And I continue to work on the platform where we stay the slime statue. And after a little bit time, I finish to make that. I work on it to the night and I finish to make a half of the slime statue. Day 260 to 269. In the morning I took some iron, some chests, some wood and I start to make a lot of hoppers. And after that I start to prepare some materials for a sorting system. After that I go to my gold farm and I start to make a sorting system for gold ingot, gold nugget and rotten flesh. After some time I finish to make the sorting system, I test it and the sorting system work perfectly. Day 270. In that day I continue to make some concrete. And I continue to work on the slime statue. I make a big part of the slime statue but I need more glass and more concrete. After that, to the end of the day, I work to make more concrete. Day 271. In that day, I continue to work on the slime statue. After some time, I finished to make the concrete part of the slime statue and now I need a lot of glass. After I gathered some lime glass, I continue to place that to the end of the day. Day 272. I spent the entire day to finish the slime statue. Day 273. In that morning I make some fireworks because I remain without any firework. After that I collect some kelp. When I arrive down to the slime farm I see that I have so much slime ball without any iron golem and that's very good. And after that I start to work on a tunnel which I can transform the slime ball to the surface. And I work on that until to the night. Day 274. In that day I start to work on the storage system in the slime statue. After some time I finish to make the storage system and the item distribution system. After that I start to work on the redstone part of the system which I transport the item from the slime farm to the surface. The end of the day is here and I finish to make the redstone part. Day 275. In that morning I start the collection system and I finalize the item elevation system. When I arrive to the surface I made more lime concrete. And to the end of the day 275 I finished to make the design of the interior of the storage room. Day 275. Because in the future I want to remove the water from the ocean monument, I need a hoe which with I can break very easy the sponge. But I took an enchanted book with mending and unbreaking 3 and after that I go to my villager to gather an efficiency 5. After I gather the enchanted book which I need, I start to make the hoe with efficiency 5, unbreaking 3 and mending. I took my oil sponge and to the end of the day I remove water. Day 277. That day I go in nether with my old wet sponge and I start to dry that. 278. After I remove a lot of water I go again in nether to dry my wet sponge. I return in overworld and I start to remove the water. Day is approaching and I remove a lot of water. To the end of the day I dry my sponge. 179 to 280. Morning I collect my dry sponge from nether. and I continue to remove the water. I work a lot of time, but finally I finish to remove the old water which is above the ocean monument. After that, to the end of the day, I start to remove the sand with all technique with the torp 281. That morning I fill up my entire inventory with sand. After that I go home and I took a lot of wood. I make a lot of chests and I place that because I need a location where I can store a lot of sand. I leave some sand. 282 to 283. In the morning I start to continue to remove the sand. After I finish to remove the whole sand, I go to collect my red sponge because that was remained in the last 4 sections. The day is here and I finish to collect my old sponge. 184 to 285. In the morning I go in Nether and I start to dry my old sponge. After that I go in the ocean monument and I start to remove the old water which is in the motion monument. Work until the night and finally I finish to remove the old water which is in that ocean monument. Day 286. Morning I dry my sponge again. After that I go under the ocean monument and I start to remove the water. 287 to 288. Today I decided me to remove the entire interior of the ocean monument and I start to work on that. And I work on that until to the night. 290. The morning of day 290 I finish to remove the entire interior of the ocean monument. And I gather some gold. It's very interesting, and in the floor of the ocean monument I found the amethyst structure. After that I start lighting the entire interior of the ocean monument with sea lanterns. End of the day is here and I finish to lighting the entire interior of the ocean monument. 291. Morning I go under the ocean monument and I starting to lighting that because I want to prevent the mob spawning. Work on the entire day. And in the end of the day I finished to lighting that. Day 292. In the morning I start to work on a prismarine farm and firstly I prepare to place where the future guardian will die. I place some block of redstone and after that I place a lot of power rail. The rest of the day I spend by collecting a lot of redstone. Day 293. In that morning I make more power rail and I start to place that. A little bit time I finish to place the old power rail and after a little bit time I start to place a lot of magma cube for the killing system. 294. Today I go back to my island and I start to collect a lot of wood. After a little bit time I gather a lot of wood. At the end of the day I finish to make the storage location and a little part of the sorting system. Day 295. Morning I start to prepare the materials for the sorting system. And I start to work on that. To the end of the day I go in Nether to gather some soul sand and kelp from the ocean. Day 296. Morning I start to work on the elevation system of the storage. After a little bit time I place the water in that. I work on that until to the night and all stuff are worked perfectly. Day 297. I made some light blue glass and I start to place that. I managed to make the entire structure and now the last thing which I need to make is to place a lot of water in the interior. I start to work on that. In the end of the day I finish to place the water in the first part. Day 298. In the morning I go to check the sorting system because the farm are start to work. And after that I start to fill up with water the parts too. End of the day I check again the sorting system and all stuff are work perfectly. 299. Morning I took some sand and after that I start to surround the ocean monument with a big circle of sand. Work until the night and I start to make a little outline. Day 300. In the morning I start to place a lot of sand to go up with the sand outline to the surface. The end of day 300 is here and I finish to make a big part of the giant sand circle. That was the next part of the HarcCore. Don't forget to like and subscribe to reach 5,000 subscribers as soon as possible.